And we are back here for the Marymount Saints Day of Giving. Happens every year. And this time we are joined with the College of Health and Education Dean, Skye Donovan. And I just want to, first of all, thank you so much for joining us on what has become a beautiful day. It's warmed up quite a bit over the last
It's a great day.
Last hour.
It's the best day to give to Marymount.
Now, you've been a part of the Marymount community for the past 17 years, and recently were asked to be the interim dean. Can you talk a little bit about that process and how having that sort of thrust upon you was?
Yeah, it was a great honor. And every day it is clear to me that I love Marymount and love being involved. So I came to Marymount, as you said, 17 years ago. I was only 5 when I started here. So I had moved to the Washington, D.C. area. I was actually hired at 3 different universities, and I chose Marymount because of the alignment of my own personal values with the mission of the university, and I just fell in love with it. So I've been on faculty in the physical therapy program and sort of moved up into administration and was the chair of physical therapy for at least 6 years, and then we restructured and became into schools. So I was the director of the School of Health Sciences, and when our current dean was asked to move into the role of provost, I was more than happy to pinch hit and just keep our college, I like to call it, keep the ship in the channel. So don't do anything crazy, but just make sure we keep sailing in the right direction.
I like that a lot. Now, for those of us, myself included, who might not know too much about what's going on behind the scenes, what sort of interesting things might be going on in that department?
Oh, we have so many interesting things going on in our department. So as the name sounds, we are the College of Health and Education. So anything that you think of with health. So we have physical therapy, we have speech language pathology, we also have mental health counseling and clinical mental health. We also have nursing. We then have education. So education would be anything from pre-K all the way up to higher ed, because we have a doctoral degree in education. And then we have everything that's sort of pre. So we have a robust undergraduate program. So we have students who will be going on to graduate school at some point. So they are sort of pre-health professions. So they could be going to chiropractic school. They could be also engaged in a career in public health, and they could stay at Marymount for their master's in public health. So we really like to refer to ourselves collectively as the helping professions, because whether you're in education or healthcare, our job is to help our communities.
I like that answer a lot. Can you talk about the global perspective side of things?
Absolutely. So with a lot of those programs that I mentioned, we have several trips that we do with our students, because, again, the best way that they can learn to help their community is to go out in their community. So, service learning in context. So we have some programs that we do really locally, so within Arlington County. So our nursing students, our healthcare students, our clinical mental health counseling, they offer free services. We even have a clinic in the Ballston location that gives free mental health services to the Arlington community. But we do blood pressure screens, fall screens. But then for the global perspective, we have several trips where we take students to different regions of our own country. So 2 weeks ago, we were in very rural Virginia, part of, the Appalachian mountain range, to do healthcare for persons who don't have healthcare, and they're in very underserved regions. And then we have trips where we've sent students to Guatemala to provide rehabilitation services. We also sent our mental health counseling students who do research projects. They were presenting their research in Poland. And then we are poised in the next 2 weeks to send faculty over to Uganda to work with the Reach for Uganda project to really enhance education there for the community members who are living in Africa.
Now, you mentioned that, especially in this area, there are a lot of connections that have been made with different companies. Can you talk about, first of all, what some of those connections beyond that might be, and also what Marymount students can bring to the table to companies that might be looking for potential pipeline from Marymount to their offers?
Yeah, we are really blessed that we have a very good relationship with several local corporations, and it goes both ways, because both they are helping us in giving us signature experiences for our students that they wouldn't get at other universities. But then also we're helping them, because it's really securing a great employee who understands what their mission and vision is. And we really have this nice collaboration where they can help us enhance classroom and internship experiences, but then it provides them with, like I said, an employee that is aligned with what their goals are as a corporation. Our biggest corporate sponsor right now is MedStar Health PT, and they are a wonderful partner, and they give us $100,000 every year for 5 $20,000 PT scholarships. We also have a very good partnership with Sibley Hospital, Virginia Hospital Center, Innova, as well as a couple of other physical therapy and health sciences and exercise science corporations. So in terms of those, we have PT Solutions, Ivy Rehab, Fusion Physical Therapy, Eagle Physical Therapy, and Rehab at Work.
And how has the health and healthcare sector shifted over the last couple of years for our current students and also our alumni?
Well, do we have another 5 hours that I can use? So there's many, many shifts in healthcare, and it's shifting every day. So we also, just on Monday, welcomed a new director of the Center for Medicaid and Medicare. So we have to follow a lot of the things that are happening in the federal government. So I think one of the things that Marymount is really great at is, we are located right next to Washington, D.C., so kind of just being in the mix, and just general people are talking about all of these changes. But we also try to have our students really get into their communities and see what the needs are, so they can both mitigate the different healthcare challenges that are coming at them, but also advocate for healthcare and education changes that we're going to need to be able to sustain the livelihood of our community. Biggest changes really are changes in payment structure. Students have lots of debt from going into these programs because they also have a graduate school that they have to attend, most of them. So really this Giving Day is great because it's really getting us some bandwidth on the amazing things our students are doing and how we can help close the gaps on their educational debt.
And we opened with our show with all of the potential opportunities to gain bonus money. If you had, which I'm going to give you the platform to, if you had 2 minutes or so to pitch all of the faculty and staff as to why they should donate today on this day of giving, what would that be?
So if we're talking about outside donors, I would say you probably have been impacted by a Marymount student at some point, whether you were in a local healthcare institution here or you were in one of the school systems and your children are going to school there. They probably interacted with a Marymount student. If we're talking to alumni, I would say the best way that you can give is think about the experience that you had here at Marymount, really appealing to all of our alumni who went on those signature trips, did those amazing experiences in places like Latin America and in Eastern Europe, and think about the impact that had on you and how that changed your career and just your view on life. And give me $10 or $20 today, because that will help and it will accumulate to help another student go on that trip. And then for current faculty and staff and students and parents, you're reinvesting in your own product. So if you are an employee here at Marymount, the best thing that you can do is give back to Marymount, because that's a direct representation of what you do every single day. And you all are very familiar with the challenges that students face in trying to get their tuition paid. So perfect reason for you to spend your money today.
Well, you definitely sold me. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us on this day of giving.
Of course. Thank you. And get those pocketbooks open.